What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so this was another request from the brother Eric regarding the best teams not make NBA Finals in various decades. And my prior video did a real response to his question of who was the best team in the 1990s not to make an NBA Finals appearance. And part two of that query was who was the best team in the 2000s not to make an NBA Finals appearance. And I would have to go with the Sacramento Kings. Now, unlike the Pacers, they did not have a sustained period where they were always in the mix. Like, the Pacers were going to conference finals for like not all of those years, but over a span of actually 6 consecutive seasons, they were contenders to make it to the finals or the conference finals or even the championship. Whereas this Kings team kind of underperformed. They had just 1 year where they made it to a conference finals, and that was 2002. However, their performance that year in 2002 was so strong, and the controversy surrounding that game, that infamous Game 6, when not only did they lose that game, but many people feel like that game was robbed from them as far as them actually being able to come away with a victory. Had they came away with a victory, they would have beaten the Lakers in that championship series. Well, actually, excuse me, in that Eastern Western Conference Final series, and would have gone on to the NBA Finals, where more than likely they would have annihilated the Nets. So a lot of Kings fans to this day still feel like the NBA robbed them of a championship. I watched that game, and I don't think I've ever seen a game that was more questionable as far as its officiating than that particular game. All you got to do is go on YouTube and look at that game yourself. I advise you to try to look at the entire game, or at the very least, if you can't look at the entire game, look at some footage of many, or if not all, of the questionable plays and non-calls in that game. But anyway, that team was loaded. It was the best team that Chris Webber ever played on. I believe they won 61 games that year, which was, I think, best in the NBA. They were the number one offensive team in the NBA. And unlike many offensive teams, they were also a great defensive team. And they had a great bench. And the only real weakness I can recall from that team is that, well, I don't want to say the only weakness, but outside of Chris Webber and Bibby, I don't think they really had too many guys in their starting lineup that were one-on-one offensive, like, shot creators, like to the extent where they were elite. I mean, Vlade could score, but compared to the other big men, the upper elite big man, he was kind of, or average, I guess, in that aspect. He was a great passing big man. That's another thing that was elite and unusual about that team, was that you had Weber, you had Divac, and to an extent you had Bibby out on the floor, who were either good or great passers. And that was, we're talking about 25 years ago. So that Kings team was very revolutionary, man. Only thing about it was, honestly, man, that Game 6 was so rigged, man. So rigged. I really, for a long time, man, I just almost simply refused to call the Lakers a three-peat team, because I just thought, like, that was just such bullshit. But to be fair, the Kings could have still won the series in the seventh game, and they blew it. They blew it. So, you know, it is what it is. But I still think that, for all things considered, that was probably the best team, especially if you're talking about individual year. That was probably the best team not to make an NBA Finals during that decade. Because I think if you're talking about like a general, if you stretch it out to more like what was a team in that decade that was good for a while or great for a couple of years that just unfortunately didn't make it to a finals, there aren't really too many candidates. Had Dallas not made it to the finals in 2006, they would have been probably my pick. But Dallas did go to the finals in 2006, even though they blew a 2-0 lead. And when I think about it, I can't really think of other teams that stand out in the Eastern Conference or in the Western Conference. I really can't think of any team off the top of my head that stands out. The Sixers went to the finals that decade. Boston was not really championship ready. I mean, they had a decent Boston team with Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce, but they weren't really championship ready until '08 after those trades. And then they went to two finals. Well, really one final in '08 in the decade. The Spurs, of course, went to finals. The Cavaliers went to the finals in 2007. The Nets, of course, went back to back. So like I said, it's kind of hard for me to pick out a team because there was a lot more parity, I think, in the 2000s compared to the 90s when you kind of saw certain teams go to the finals more often. There's a little bit more parity after the post-Michael Jordan league when it started, I guess I should say. So, yeah, I had to go with the Kings, man. I had to go with the Kings, just even off the strength of that 1 year. I'll go with the Kings. So tell me what you guys think. What team do you think was the best team of the 2000s not to go to an NBA Finals?